All right, let's make these single chocolate chip cookies. All right, that's what we're working on today. So normally, if your butter has been in the refrigerator, you would need to soften it in the microwave to start. Instead, today it's already been softened by sitting out on the counter overnight. Our ovens are preheated to 350. If you don't have a thermometer in your oven, to double check the temperature to make sure it's calibrated correctly, I highly recommend you do that in your home refrigerator or in your home oven. And I've lined my baking sheet with parchment paper. That just means that we don't have to wash the pan as long as everything stays on the parchment paper. So it really helps with expediting, expediting cleanup. So direction 1 says, in a microwave safe bowl, heat the butter until it just starts to melt. We're not having to do that. And then add the butter, sugars, salt, and vanilla together in a bowl by hand. So we just need a small bowl. Again, this only makes 2 cookies. So this is 2 tablespoons of butter. That's it. Nice, small. Make sure you use the measurements on the side of the stick of butter to get an accurate measurement. You just need to cut it with a knife. All right, so we've got 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of firmly packed brown sugar. Again, when you measure brown sugar, you push it into whatever your measuring tool is so that you get an accurate measurement. Okay, so firmly packed brown sugar, there's going to be 2 of those. Okay, there we go. And 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar or white sugar. 1 tablespoon granulated white sugar. Okay, we need the salt, so just a pinch of salt. Perfect. Okay, a pinch is an actual measurement. A pinch is about a 1/16 or so of a teaspoon. So technically, yes, a pinch is a measurement. Okay, and vanilla, which is a 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, make sure that you fill that all the way up. Okay, 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, so now let's take a look here into the bowl. You can see everything's in there, and you can just mix this part with a fork. Okay, you can use a whisk, but a fork works as well. I really like forks. They're underrated. Okay. So essentially, you are breaking up the sugars and the butter until they are well incorporated with one another. If you were making like a full batch of cookies, you would normally do this like in a mixer of some kind. And we call this creaming together the butter and the sugar. That's what this step is called. Okay. And basically you just want it to be homogeneous, meaning it's all the same. So you can't really tell the difference, right, between the sugars and the vanilla. They're completely mixed into one mixture. So you can see there, it went from super lumpy all of a sudden to now being all the same. Okay, kind of looks like peanut butter. All right, so after that, we're going to add the egg. If you are using whole eggs, you would just use the yolk. I'm using egg beaters, so like pre-scrambled eggs. So 1 yolk is roughly a tablespoon. So I'm just going to fill my tablespoon with the pre-scrambled egg. Okay. You're going to need to wash your tablespoon because you're going to need it again for your chocolate chips. Okay. So now we're going to mix the egg into the butter and sugar mixture. This is all the moisture that is in this recipe. So it's really important that you get it well incorporated. This is the only moisture that this recipe is going to have. So you want to make sure you don't leave any of it out. All right. So once that is well mixed, now it kind of looks like oatmeal. Okay. All right. So from there, we're going to add the baking soda and the baking flour. Okay. So again, with a 1/4 of a teaspoon, this baking soda is what's going to allow the cookies to rise. Make sure that you kind of sprinkle it all over the bowl. You don't just dump it in one spot. okay? And we need 1/4 of a cup of flour, okay? That flour should be nice and leveled off. All right, we're gonna stir this in. Okay, try to keep it all under bowl, please. All right. And there, out of nowhere, you get cookie dough. All right, so last thing we're gonna add is our 3 heaping tablespoons of chocolate chips. Okay, so remember, this needs to be cut. So remember, a heaping tablespoon, that means it is overflowing. Okay, so it's filled up over the top. All right, so 3 heaping tablespoons. This would be heaping. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and we're just going to stir those in until they're well incorporated. Okay. All right. There you go. Easy peasy. All right, so you can either make 2 big chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to break this into 4 just because I really want it to spread evenly. And the cookies, if you only do 2, are large. They're like the size of the palm of your hand, and they're really thick. So I want to make sure that these cook in enough time in class today. So I'm going to make 4 cookies instead of 2. The smaller the surface area, the faster it cooks. Think about cupcakes versus a whole cake, right? Cupcakes cook way faster than a whole cake. Okay, so you can just use your hands for this part. They should already be clean. All right, so I'm just going to take my cookie dough, okay, form it into a ball and set it on my parchment. Okay, and I'm going to make 4 small, and they're not small by any means, but these are still really good sized cookies. Okay, your parchment should be divided up with your lab partners so that you each have your own section. Okay, you can write on the parchment to divide it up. That's what, oh, actually, I think I'm just going to end up making 5 cookies, guys. Okay. All right, but I'm just going to scrape this all out of the bowl. Remember, this is actual cookie dough. It has raw eggs in it, which means you cannot eat it. So get as much of it into the actual oven as possible so you can enjoy it. All right. We do not eat raw cookie dough at school. All right, last one. 5 cookies. My hands are so sticky. Now that my hands are rinsed off, I'm going to put my cookies in the oven. Sorry, I was using that to hold the parchment down. I'm going to put my cookies in the oven and set the timer for 8 minutes. So open your oven all the way before you open it. Don't just open it part way. Open it all the way. Okay? My cookies are going to go in the oven. All right. And we're going to set the timer. You're going to hit the actual timer button on your oven. Don't hit cook time, okay, or bake time. Kitchen timer, okay? And then just click it up to the amount of time you want, and it should start automatically. We will check back with these in 8 minutes and see how they are. I have even more Cookie Monster for you today. All right, so my timer just went off, exactly 8 minutes, okay? I've got my oven mitts. Decide who's gonna be touching this stuff in the oven. 1 person, that's all you need, okay? That way we don't have to wash handles and things. So again, open your oven all the way. Pull out the rack, all right? And then pull out your cookies. You can see they're nice and golden on the tops and on the edges. You're gonna let these sit. Oh, there goes the timer. Again, you're gonna let those sit. Push the rack back in, okay? For about 3 to 4 minutes, because we need all the molecules that are zooming around because it's so hot to slow down. So let those cool. They don't have to be cold. They just need to not be screaming hot out of the oven. Let those cool so that you can take them off the tray and eat them. This is a great time to wash anything else you need to worry about. Also, like I said, the benefit of parchment paper is I can grab the parchment and I can grab the tray and I can separate them, okay? So now the tray can be moved as well and given a chance to cool even faster. Okay? Hope you enjoy. That's a pretty decent recipe for a single serve recipe. Bye, guys.